Hi, everyone. So, we decided to take a week off while I moved into my new apartment, and while that was happening, the world saw the murder of George Floyd occur. So, we did not think it was appropriate to restart the podcast this week. So, we are going to take one more week off and come back next week with a new episode.
But this week, we are going to do something a little new for us. We're going to use our platform to point you in the direction of some new voices. We do the 5 questions every week, but this week's 5 questions are going to be specifically about uplifting some voices that we think need to be heard right now. So, Joe, what have you been watching?
So, one of my favorite YouTubers, Tunerific Tariq, I've talked about him before on the podcast. He puts out these really awesome 30 to sometimes hour-long episodes, all about cartoons with people of color, stories about people of color in the animation world. They're all really fantastic. And he just put out a collaboration video, a series of videos with other Black YouTube creators, and they all did this crazy long series of episodes all around this Cartoon Network event that happened in the early 2000s called Invaded. It's super great. I highly recommend everyone go check it out, and it highlights a bunch of different YouTubers who are all Black artists and just doing amazing stuff on YouTube.
Cool. And I think the last time you talked about him, we talked about the Proud Family
Yeah,
episode that he did. That was super cool. I went back and watched that after that episode, so I also highly recommend Tunerific Tariq.
yeah.
And everything we talk about will be linked in the description, along with some resources to donate to Black Lives Matter organizations, all that good stuff.
So, Seth, what have you been reading?
So this week I've been trying to educate myself a little more. Obviously, as a white person, I don't have the lived experience to educate myself on the issues of Black folks in America. And so I've realized that I think I'm really I don't know as much as I should.
Yeah,
And so a place that I've started is a place that a lot of people have recommended that I start, which is the book Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson.
yeah.
I think it was a New York Times bestseller. It's a very popular book. This is not like a niche suggestion or anything. But I can't recommend it enough. It really is so clear and simple in the way that it lays out exactly what has happened to Black people in this country. Um, and Bryan Stevenson is such a caring, compassionate, relatable author. He writes beautifully. The book is ostensibly about combating the death penalty in
Mm.
America, but obviously that's an issue that disproportionately affects Black Americans and specifically Black men. And the book is brilliant and really good to read, especially if you're a white person like me who feels like you maybe don't know as much as you should. I
Absolutely.
can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I think as allies, we can never say we know everything. It's always our job to learn more. And with resources like this, it's really great to absorb that, learn it, and use it in future situations.
Yes, and Bryan Stevenson also founded the Equal Justice Initiative, which is a great organization. Links to that in the description again.
Yeah.
Um, Joe, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I really wanted to think about this, and we were putting this all together, and I came to the realization that I don't know any specifically black gaming companies in the industry, and I did a little research, and sure enough, I came to find that 1% of the professional gaming industry is comprised of black people, and that's messed up. So I think recognizing that there are issues all over that need to be addressed with this. So I did a little bit of digging, and so I came upon this new indie game called Swim Sanity, and it is by two black brothers who made a free Flash game online. It blew up, and they got the game produced, and it's coming out soon for all the gaming platforms, and I'm definitely going to check it out when it comes out, and I encourage you to do the same and promote these guys. But Seth, you actually found something similar to what I did, and I want to hear about that.
Yeah, so it came across one of my social media timelines. This is the bundle for racial justice equality. It's similar to those Humble Bundle type packages, where it's a collection of indie games that you get for one flat rate. This one, the buy-in price is $5. The games you get, there are 742 games from 564 creators who have donated their indie titles to this fundraiser. The funds are going it's a 50-50 split between the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and the Community Bail Fund. So both great organizations and reputable charities to donate to. This fundraiser has raised over $2 million already, and they have a goal of $5 million by the end of next week. And there are some great games in there, Joe. You know a couple of the games that are in there, I think.
Yeah, I saw some actually amazing games in this collection, like Night in the Woods, Desktop Goose. Definitely some shovelware games in here, but there are also some titles that I've been wanting to pick up for a while. I've been supporting the Humble Bundles pretty much every year since they've been coming out, and those give you like 5, maybe 10 games on a good bundle. This is 740 games for $5. How can you not do it?
Yeah, and you're supporting a great cause along the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Seth, what have you been listening to?
So this week I've actually been listening to a podcast that you recommended to me. It's called Ear Hustle, and it's stories from inside San Quentin prison. But there's an interesting twist on that has happened relatively recently, I think, and I'll let you talk about that.
So the show is run by producers Nigel Poor and Earlonne Woods, and Earlonne Woods was actually an inmate at San Quentin producing the show, and at the beginning they were just going out and interviewing fellow inmates, talking to them about their experiences, and you learned so much about the inner workings of the prison system in America, and you still do. However, a few months ago, Earlonne was actually released from prison, and so he is now a full-time producer for the show. It's now his job, which is amazing. And he is now using the platform to go out and interview recently released inmates or families of inmates and tell their stories as well. And so the show has really branched out, and there's so many voices heard in that show, and it's so incredible.
So if you're a fan of podcasts, which we know you are because you're listening to this one, then you should go check out Ear Hustle. I believe it's available everywhere that podcasts are available.
Correct. Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for listening. And again, we encourage you to go out and check out those content creators. Their voices deserve to be heard. If you want any more resources, we have included a few in the description, and we will be back next week. Good night, everyone.